Hi guys, it feels good to be back, and today I'm bringing Matt Giardino. He's my supervisor here at Mackay, and it's been 3 months that I've been learning so much from him, so much about digital advertising, and nothing better than just to bring my mentor, the right person here to talk to me and to talk to you guys about everything that we do here at Mackay. So Matt, thank you so much
Thanks for having
for
me.
taking your time to come here and talk to me. And so let's explain them what do we do, what do you do especially and everything. And I want to start off by asking why digital advertising? From where? How?
Pretty much what we do is we create a customer journey for our clients from first touch to paying customer, and we track it all the way through. Traditionally, we would be called an advertising agency, but what makes us unique is the activation part in our name. So basically what that is to me is being able to utilize all the new technologies that we're afforded and being able to create a plan from the first time that anyone has ever interacted with your business, and then getting them to finally convert at the very bottom of the funnel. And that's usually through search engine marketing, which is mainly what I do.
That's amazing. And for me, as you know, all of this is really mind blowing because it's a lot of information, it's a lot of tools and techniques that you can use to reach your target. So every day is like a pretty interesting day for me because I'm find out something new. And let's talk a little bit more about activation, the activation part. How would you explain that? How would you say that it's like important for a business to have the activation on the business?
The activation part of McKay Advertising and Activation is mostly coming up with a way of formulating a different plan in the digital landscape that allows for the activation, which is the actual final consumer, to actually happen. So the activation part of it is all those pieces working together to ensure that we're creating new customers for our clients.
It's amazing. And just to let them know, like Google is the platform that we most use because we're like Google partners here at the agency. And let me ask you right now on a personal level, which technique do you think is the most interesting, like in Google, when you're like building a campaign, when you're trying to reach a certain target? Like, what do you think is most interesting?
I think for me, a couple of things that I really enjoy, and most of that involves using analytics, is being able to really create audience segments that aligns with the messaging that you're trying to reach with your consumers. That's one of the most important things. I think a lot of times, different advertisers, they throw a giant blanket approach, and nowadays a lot of our consumers, they're not looking for that blanket approach. They're looking for very personalized advertising. So I think that's one of the things that I think is the most powerful opportunity that we have with digital advertising, and what kind of makes it really fun, in my opinion.
That's amazing, pretty understandable. And now the hard question. What do you think is the most like frustrating part of digital?
I think the most frustrating thing about digital advertising is, I would have to say, honestly, all the different options that are available to us. As unusual as that sounds, I think a lot of times, obviously, we have plenty of time that we can actually, test out different platforms and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, there's so many different available options for us. It's a little bit difficult to navigate that landscape. And luckily for myself and Alex, who is the director of social media for our agency, has really, gained that experience over the year to be able to really start understanding what clients align well with different platforms, to make sure that they receive the most benefit from this.
That's awesome. That's really good. And would you say that this industry has a downside? Because right now, like digital advertising is so important because of the transition from the offline media to the online media. We do believe that everything in the future will be digital advertising eventually. Do you think there's like a downside for it, that you see like a flaw, you see like, I don't know, because it's growing so fast, but we always have to see through both sides?
Yeah, I think that at times digital advertising gets a little bit of a bad reputation a lot of times with spam ads and banner ads and things of that nature. But a lot of that bad reputation comes from what was really old technology, I believe, and more of like a blanket approach. I think nowadays with the high level of audience segmentation that Google allows and Facebook allows, we're really starting to get where we can actually really reach people with the appropriate messaging. So it's less invasive. It's more of something that's natural and something that's more targeted within their feet.
That's awesome. And can you explain to me like a pretty successful campaign that you ran that you feel so proud of, that you say, you know, like this client had nothing in the beginning and with digital advertising they got somewhere. Like there's an example?
Yeah, I mean, I would say one of the clients that I'm working with right now, Men's Liberty, super excited about that. I've been really working hard on that account the last 3 or 4 months.
Awesome.
And through that process, I've seen a steady increase in the meta conversion rate that I'm getting from that campaign. And a lot of it's just making different reports within analytics and being able to isolate different segments of our audience that are really engaging well and becoming the customers that we're looking for.
Awesome. And just to add something on it, like I do believe so much in the power of data, how you can just grab the data and show to the client and say that this is are the results, you know, like we're not lying, that's not like, you know, just any talk, it's just like showing the results, showing the truth. So I think that's awesome. And Matt, just to wrap it up everything, which suggestion, which advice would you give to advertising students that are getting the marketed right now? What do you tell them about digital marketing?
Well, I would say that one of the most important things is that everything goes hand in hand. Whether you come from a traditional mindset or even if you're just starting out in digital media, the number one thing to realize is that there's more than one way to skin a cat. So what may work for one company might not work for another company. But at the end of the day, all these different mechanisms, whether it's traditional or digital media, they all have an impact on each other. And that's the number one takeaway that I can think of.
No, that's fair enough. Thank you so much, Matt. I'm so excited to keep learning from you. You have no clue. Like since day one that I got here at this agency until now, like I feel that my brain is so much bigger, you know, with information and everything. And it is always, always, always so good. This is my advice for you advertising students to get involved and get the knowledge on digital advertising. It's super important if you care about this industry and if you want to, you know, like be able just to know everything, to cover everything. So that's what I'm doing here as an intern. So thank you so much for talking.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.